This is called Monster from Alice Growell. This is called Monster from Alice Growell. This is called Monster from Alice Growell.
Hey, welcome to our ranch, A.G.F.C. This electron pop doors are open. Come on in, grab yourself a favorite seat, favorite snack, your favorite drink. Sit back with us for a while as we dive into the world of air guns, my brothers and sisters in Christ, and air guns, and all around the world. I want to welcome you all to this electronic pub where air gunners hang out, air gun shooters hang out. Who do we got? We got two people watching us. Let's go into the chat. Nobody in the chat yet? Nobody chatting it up? What's going on here? Wow, look who just popped in the back. Our good friend, Mystic 22222. We'll be bringing him out in just a moment. It'll be interesting to chat with my old buddy Mystic, see what he's been up to and what kind of wisdom he can bestow on us today. He's full of wisdom. I love his wisdom. Anyway, yeah, we're just gonna hang out. That's what this is all about, and maybe go over some the latest airgun news and video reviews and whatnot, and just have a little bit of fun for an hour or so. See what happens. Okay, so with no further ado, see what's going on with Mystic 22222. My friend Mystic, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Your audio sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm 100% unprepared. The reason I turned off the camera is because the sun is shining brightly behind my window screen, and all you're going to see is a dark profile.
Oh no. Okay.
Not to mention, I'm 100% unprepared and everything else. So,
Well, I got off work and took Christy to the hospital to get some prescriptions filled, and we went to the grocery store, and I come back and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like going to sleep, so I'm gonna live stream.
yeah, well, when Hope noticed that you were going live, I was in the middle of trying to repair a much needed electric jack. We traced it down to a switch. I
I
woke,
see.
I woke up this morning with a sore eye, and the
You too.
soreness went away after about an hour or two, and now that eye is blurry.
Ever since yesterday, I had this massive migraine and my eyeballs felt swollen.
Okay.
So much pressure above my eyes. It hurt.
Well, that could be an indication of
Well, I need new glasses. What I need.
well, there is that, of course. But my eyes were basically re-engineered.
I think if I had new glasses, I would most definitely resolve
Yeah,
97% of my problem.
yeah. Well,
Which I got prescriptions for them. I just haven't got a damn prescription filled.
my prescription was carved into my cornea, and it's perfect. But something has, so I can't really wear glasses anyway. But I
So
just,
you're the YouTube scanner of this channel and knowledge of air guns and what is going on in the world. Whatever you heard.
ooh, like I said,
Maccabee put
100%.
anything new out?
I haven't looked at Maccabee. Not lately.
Mm.
But yeah, there's massive things going on in the world.
Oh yeah, massive things all over the world. I enjoy my job. I finally found a job that I enjoy making money and driving people around and meeting new people, but at the same time, I can sit in silence.
Uh huh.
I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the radio when I'm driving.
I've never been able to sit in silence. My head chatters all the time.
Well, so does mine, but that's why Mayman 98, my friend, girlfriend, what is going on up with you? What's up, girl? But No, it's comforting to drive people around. It's nuts, you know.
Sorry.
It's not like I'm chauffeuring them, but I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
It's not like a taxi either, you know, because it's different.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be freelancing.
Maymates 98 is saying she's reliving my childhood playing Doodle God on the Switch.
Can you translate?
Your childhood was in on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah,
What is the Switch?
it's a console. Uh,
Oh,
type Nintendo. You heard of Nintendo?
I know what
Yeah,
Nintendo Switch
it's
is.
a
okay.
console that they came out with that have I don't know. Maybe you can explain the Switch better. It's a type.
Well, she says it was on her
Yeah.
iPod.
My iPad.
I used to have the
iPod.
game on my original
iPod is a
iPod.
first-person stereo.
Cool, cool. So yeah, I just decided no Doodle God used to be for iPod. I wanted an iPhone. Yeah, I don't. I had the what was it? Way back when the Atari 2600, and
Hmm.
I had what was who made that? Who made the it was my stepson's at the time, but we bought it together. It was the little square box, the cube. It was they called it. Is that Nintendo also?
I never played Nimembo games.
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Not Nintendo.
When you had an Amiga, you called it the Nimembo.
DG Outdoors, what's going on, my friend?
Mm,
How you doing, my friend?
I wish we could see.
So my first game console was the Motorola with the six knobs connected directly.
Motorola with the six dot
Yeah,
GameCube.
circa
Yes,
1970.
Nintendo made that, right? The GameCube. Nintendo Switch. Game.
This is $59.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. My nephews, my sister's boys, they play the Switch. But so what's going on, DG? Have you gone out and done any squirrel hunting with your air guns lately? I don't know if you put anything out. I haven't checked my I haven't checked YouTube. Nintendo 64 was
Since they
my
banned the
first game
guns up
system.
here, the squirrels shoot
Really?
back, and we get arrested if we
I
try
had
to.
the Nintendo 6 I had the oh, not the Nintendo 64. I did have the Nintendo 64. But I had oh my Commodore 64.
Aha!
Now that was an old game system. It was computer
There was a lot more than a game
CMOS
system.
driven.
It was a lot more than a game computer. If its
Oh,
operating system was
it
basic.
was oh I know it was a computer, but you just hooked it up to a black and white TV or a color monitor. You're gonna hook it up to your high definition color monitor today.
And it had a, I don't know, you might have trouble with that one. Well, you can probably go through a converter.
Sure, there's a way you can convert it. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
convert it.
but you could also plug in a serial port disk drive.
I did. I own the Sega Genesis. Is that what you're talking about? The NES.
No, No, it was
NES,
It was a Commodore disk drive to go with the Commodore 64.
the NES system.
The the Commodore 64 PET,
Yes,
the Commodore PET, and the Commodore 64.
yes,
And I also had the pin plotter.
really.
Yeah, not very good.
No, I
really,
never.
really,
I
you,
heard it wasn't ever really any good.
no, you couldn't even get it to write text very well. I mean, it printed on ticker tape, like what comes out of your gas station uh, receipt or your store receipt.
Did you say in squirrel season isn't until August? But I have been chipmunk hunting in a week or so. Cool, cool. Super Nintendo or Nintendo? I don't know. Nintendo Entertainment Systems or the Super Nintendo Entertainment Systems. I think it's been short for. I see.
I have a box with my wife's old um, portable, not portable. What do you call it? The mobile NES, the Game Boy. It
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
Game Boy in a box.
Game Boy in a box.
No, you'd have trouble getting it to work now.
Oh,
But
man.
I know you'd be pretty disappointed. Resolution is like 32 by 64. Okay. That's not K. That's not megapixels. That's pixels, and
Right, right.
only runs on game cartridges. That was the problem I had. That I always had with the early game consoles.
Let me
The
look at you.
the cartridges were proprietary.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. When I looked at Lockheed, I had a lot of colleagues in a lot of various different disciplines. One of them was an airman for the Navy, and he had connections with the Navy educational department,
Uh huh.
and they were looking for a very inexpensive, rapidly deployable game uh, educational and testing system.
Uh
They
huh.
didn't want they didn't want a whole computer or anything. They just wanted a portable thing that they could disperse all over the world. So what we did was we basically put together um, an NES with our own cartridge, and that was all we really needed.
Really?
Except we also needed to have it produced by NES. So we went to NES, which of course is downtown when you're in Silicon Valley, and we said, we have a $5 million contract and $5 million a year to sell the Navy an educational system, and all you need is to package the NES with a game cartridge that we designed.
Yeah.
Two big burly guards walked us out the door, told never to show a face again. Because now the game cartridge is nothing more than just a simple ROM board
Right.
in a in a little cartridge
Uh
package,
huh.
and I mean, you can open one up and see what prom is on there, and so we just burned our own prom, put it on the board, and plug it in, and there
Right.
it goes. So he
Right.
said, here it is, it's your property, and all we want is just a royalty for the whole idea. No, they walked us out the door because we dared to look at their internal buses, their data buses, their hardware. We were spying on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they bypassed. I mean, they threw away a multi-million-dollar a year guaranteed contract.
Did I lose you?
Probably that would just be beginning. They could have
Okay. All right. All right.
and yeah, so they threw all that away. A guaranteed income of multi-millions of dollars and expandable to who knows how many hundreds of $1 million because they were so hardware. Because it's proprietary, they own it. It's their ownership.
Right.
The whole point is We own this, and you don't dare even think about our product,
Mm-hmm.
except as a customer. So yeah,
Well, I mean, that's business, though.
not anymore. No, that's why NES is not.
No, that's
They've been
they didn't
acquired
make it.
and reacquired
They didn't
and
make it.
failed. No, they
Yeah,
didn't.
they never would make it.
Yeah. Uh, Back around 1982, somebody started. There was a tech show, and there was somebody showing how they had an OCR system that could read printed text.
You're right.
Basically, it was supposed to be
Okay.
any printed text.
Really?
So they said, okay, great, we're ready to buy $2,000, right? And
When was this?
about 1980, 82.
Okay.
And they said, okay, which newspaper do you want it to read? Because they needed to know what font, what size, and everything.
Uh huh.
And we said, well, we really need it for general purpose. Okay, we need to be able to read books and magazines. And nope,
Okay.
nope. The system is $2,000, but each font is uh, is $500.
Really?
And we said, doesn't that kind of restrict your product?
Right.
And they said, well, no,
No.
we're not going to. How the way they put it was, we're not going to give away the store. So what they were basically saying was their marketing model was the Barbie school of marketing.
Okay.
You sell the Barbie cheap, so you can make all your money on the outfits.
Right. Right.
So that was that.
Sell
That
the
was the end of that.
you make the money on
Yep.
the outfits, the accessories,
Yep.
and you sell the doll cheap.
Yep. And so we never heard from them again. They never showed up on the stock market. They never showed up in advertisements. They were
Right.
only
Right.
what they were trying to sell to. They thought their guaranteed market was,
It's like the little girl's easy bake oven. Remember
yeah,
the easy bake oven?
yeah, which you can't use.
You bought the oven for cheap,
Yes,
but
yes,
and it came with the mixture and the
yeah.
cake, and and you made your first one, but the marketing was rebuy the cake mix, rebuy the cake mix, rebuy
But
the cake mix.
there was actually a good reason for that, and
Well, yeah,
it was safety.
yeah,
It was heated by an incandescent light bulb. I think it was 100 watts standard height light bulb,
uh
and the inside was reflective and insulated, and it would get up to about something like 80 degrees centigrade, something like that, or about 100
my
150.
little
And so the recipes were designed to basically it was a quick bread that rose very quickly, uh, and they used a lot of leavening, but it would bake very quickly. It wasn't even really baking; it was more
okay,
like setting a pudding.
right,
So
right.
it was relatively safe. A kid could burn themselves, but they wouldn't have any scars. They wouldn't have to go to the hospital.
Now my little sister had one, and
And
we
now,
play. I
yeah,
remember us baking these little pies, these little cakes
yeah,
in her easy bake oven.
right. Well, if you go and buy an easy bake oven now, number one, it doesn't get hot.
No,
There is no incandescent lamp because that's outlawed.
right.
They they could have used a resistive heater, but they just were not going to make it hot enough to where a kid could even say ouch.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the recipe is, it isn't even close to baking. You're really just it's almost like an incubator.
Right, right, right.
You know,
That's how warming
there's
and
a
owning.
there's a chemical reaction that makes it set up, but there's no
Right.
actual cooking.
There's no cooking. There is. It does cook. I mean, if you can cook with just the hot air in around you, because
Yeah, it
if you
doesn't.
can condense the hot air around you, you can cook.
Yeah, I think you could probably mix this stuff on a chilly day and it would still set up.
Probably. Oh, the toys of yesteryear.
The good thing is we now have microwaves, which really are safe, and so yeah, a kid can actually cook in that for real. You don't really need an easy bake oven, but it just goes to show how far we've gone down this silliness hole.
Well, it's all about the mighty buck.
No, well, yes, in as much
Comes down to
if you can be sued for it, you can't make money on
it's
it.
e-commerce. E-commerce.
Well, it's ever since that woman burned herself with some McDonald's coffee and sued for $1 million and won.
Right.
That's
That's
that's where it all went completely downhill.
is that
Okay,
ridiculous?
you
What?
can't have a cup of hot coffee anymore, or if you do, you got to sign a waiver.
Did you hear that?
Sure did. That wasn't on your end. That's the
Yeah.
sound, isn't it?
Okay, so it does work. I got it working.
Okay, yeah, you hit a button.
What? All right. So I did figure it out
Yeah.
because I can also do this. But
On my supercomputer, I have a program called Screaming Bee, and it can do any kind of voice you want.
yeah, this one's it's just a little
I can,
cheap little soundboard.
yeah, but mine can make me sound like a oh.
I got the other ones. I got this one that makes me sound like a woman.
That's good.
And
Yeah,
then this one, and it just deepens my voice.
you could use that one all the
And
time.
then he got this one.
Munchkinization is easy to do.
And then there's the monster voice.
Yeah. Now this one doesn't munchkinize. It literally changes your voice and it sounds absolutely realistic as like somebody else. And
Right.
it's got about 50 people and another 75 fantasy characters like a cartoon wolf kind of thing, and then of course a couple dozen monsters.
I've still got to figure out, now that I know that these are working, I can figure out what that does or what that does. Does that change my voice any?
It makes it slightly nasal, like you're a nerd.
That one makes me sound like a nerd.
Yeah, actually, I heard you lisp just now.
You heard me lisp.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounded like a lisp.
Yeah, maybe that one's better. Anyway, back to what it was. Was that Alvin the Chipmunks I just heard? Yeah, it's a chick. It's a voice changer.
Yeah, chipmunking is easy to do. You just change the playback speed,
Right,
but
right.
actually changing the character of the voice, they actually the Screaming Bee actually for each voice actually has a plug-in program that does just that.
Right.
It actually simulates not just the pitch of the vocal cords. It simulates the shape of the nasal cavities and everything. So
Oh yeah, and of course there's everybody's laughing.
Awesome!
Awesome.
do you know where all the laugh tracks in Hollywood came from?
Where's that?
One stage act by Red Skelton.
Really?
Yep.
Red Scout.
Yeah. You know the sitcoms today are so pathetic. They don't even bother with laugh tracks.
No.
I just
think
saw a little bit of the Americanized version of Red Dwarf, the science fiction comedy from England, and it made no sense. Nobody was laughing. Not even a laugh track. It was absolutely dull.
Wow.
I mean, it was just hopeless. I think the funniest thing I heard was because Red Dwarf is it's an ore ship, in the outside of the solar system, and it's had a bad accident, and it's headed away from the sun and Earth.
What
And
is this again?
red dwarf, and they're figuring it's going to be 6 months before they can get back to Earth because they're off course, and then it
Who?
ends up then it ends
Red.
up then it ends up with a massive radiation leak that kills everybody except one guy who's in the brig in a time stasis thing, waiting to be taken back to Earth because he's been fired for keeping an illegal cat on board, and his cat survives because she's hiding in the orbit bin.
Where'd you find this sci-fi?
This is one of those British TV shows.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it is a cult classic. It is a fabulous. It's funny. It's imaginative in the way science fiction is supposed to be.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Uh,
I've never
anyway,
heard of it. I never heard of it. What is
so
it called?
anyway, Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah,
I have to look it up.
like the star, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the name of the ship. So
Okay.
there's this crewman who's just been fired, and so he's in the brig in a time stasis. So he's hibernating,
Right.
and so he survives the radiation because there's no time for him. He's actually in a time distortion thing, and then his cat survives because she's hidden behind the oar, and then there's the computer which is the ship's AI,
Yeah.
and
Oh, okay. Okay.
okay, and then this computer is going insane because it's so lonely that it finally breaks down after 5 million years, and it's heading away from Earth. It's never coming back. So it's going crazy because it's all alone. So it brings back the worst of its possible crew members, the guy who actually caused the radiation accident.
Oh my god.
And he's a technician, a low-level technician, and he's a total narcissistic egotist. And
So
he brings him back. Okay, he's dead, but all the officers on the ship have engrams of their minds. Their memories are stored in case they die, and they really need that skill. They can
I
bring them
put it
back as a
into
hologram.
cyborg body.
No, as a hologram.
Oh, okay.
So it has this floating projector that projects a hologram. Yeah, a cyborg body would be a lot more useful, right?
Right.
But no, it's just a hologram, so they can act as a consultant, and through the computer, of course, they can also control systems on the ship.
Okay.
Okay, and by law, they have to have this H imprinted on their forehead so that people don't get confused between the living and the artificial techno ghosts.
Artificial techno ghost.
Yeah, back on Earth, where there's plenty of room. Okay, in order to simulate a human being's thoughts and memories, takes a huge amount of computer power. So the computer can only handle two personalities: the ship's computer AI and one hologram.
Okay.
So back on Earth, where there's plenty of room, holograms, people who have died can come back as a hologram and live basically forever as
Forever as hologram.
But it's very upsetting to people when they're talking to somebody and they reach out to shake their hand and it goes right through them.
Right.
So by law, they have to have this H on their forehead so people don't get confused and upset. And of course, there's a lot of bigotry. A lot of people hate holograms like they're a race.
I see where this is going.
Right. So this is the three personalities that we start the show with. Okay. Oh, but it's not his cat his cat survived, but 5 million years later, there is only one cat left alive on the ship. But in 5 million years, the pregnant cat that he brought on board had babies. Those babies had babies, and over 5 million years, they gradually evolved to be into humanoids with high intelligence. Okay,
they're cat people.
Yes, they're cat people. That's right. Well, just before the computer, well, again, because the computer's lonely, it finally and the radiation level has fallen to the point where living tissue isn't destroyed. Holly, the computer, finally brings back this crewman who's in time stasis.
Okay.
So he comes out of the cell, and he's all alone, and he's wandering around on the ship. And then Holly talks to him through the monitors, and Holly is trying very, very hard to say diplomatically what the change in the situation is. That he's not at Earth. He's not about to be sent back to
Right.
Earth and
Right.
get his pink slips. And the fact that he is the last human being in existence.
Oh, damn.
Because 5 million years, the human race would have either gone extinct or evolved to something else.
Right.
See? So he's wandering around the deck, and Holly's trying to explain to him that there was a radiation flash and that everybody died. And as he's walking around, he sees these little piles of dust, and he's, what is this? And he licks his finger and puts it in the dust, and he tastes it, and he says, "What is this?" And Holly says, "Well, that was Lieutenant Aaron." In the meantime, we switch over and we segue to a scene where this humanoid that looks, it's hard to describe how it looks, but it's dressed, it's kind of like dressed like Liberace on one of his calmer days.
Oh my God.
Dressed very, very
in drag.
Not quite in drag, but definitely gay.
Oh God.
And well, they actually did. They actually did cast a gay for the part because cats and gays have some similarities in their personality, right? And it worked really, really well. It's great chemistry. So yeah, here's this humanoid with very sharp front teeth and a beautifully coiffed head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking down the hallways with this little spray bottle in his hand, and he's going, and this is mine, and this is mine, and this is mine.
Oh my God.
You don't get it?
Yes.
You do?
Spraying all over.
He's marking his territory.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, he's a lot of the things that really turn a cat on still turns this cat on.
Oh God.
So yeah, it is a great series. Highly recommend it.
All right, Red Dwarf. I'll have to check it out.
I think on YouTube you can get the most popular of all time classic episode called "Better Than Life."
Better Than Life.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Better Than Life.
All right. Okay, I'll have to check that out too. Better Than Life. What is better than life? I don't know. I can think of a few things. Life is good. Life is good.
You gonna look it up?
What?
I just might.
Oh, let me check real quick.
I have a question.
Speak up.
Question.
What's that?
Is it okay if I put on a song after the song that Grandpa said? Or whatever he said.
A song?
What song?
No, because there's certain copyrights that probably would get me in trouble.
Yeah.
What? He's like.
Okay, so it found it.
Okay.
Whoever made the song.
Oh, okay. Looks like it started out. Oh, this is funny. Okay, so the dead crew member, the officer, his name was Ace Rimmer. Well, Rimmer. His name was Rimmer. He calls himself Ace.
Ace Rimmer.
So the first thing I see here is Better Than Life full book. So apparently they wrote it as a book, and Rimmer is reading it.
I see.
Let's see. Several parts. Let me try to let me tighten the filter a little bit. Oh, full episode. Let's try that. Um, okay, maybe not. I know that I bought a copy of it, and
Hmm.
let's see.
Is this a on a is this a video?
Yeah, well, it was a TV series.
Okay.
You can buy just about any TV series, a full season or just a single episode.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that being done.
Yeah, like I bought the first season of Lost in Space on DVDs.
Really.
Yeah, and
That's pretty cool that you can do that, you know?
yeah,
In this
it's
day and
great.
age, you can go back to yesterday's kind of TV,
And see
you
episodes
know,
that you missed.
right? I wouldn't mind going back seeing every single original Star Trek series.
Yeah, well, I've got the first and second season of Star Trek.
Really?
Yep. Okay, well, it
You
looks
know,
like they actually do have some episodes, but not the titles to them. So I
mm.
see Red Dwarf season 11, episode 1, and it's 28 minutes. I guess these were half hour. I thought they were a full hour, but I guess they're half an hour.
Well, maybe we can. I'll have to look those up, and we can
Okay, so let me
broadcast some
let
of
me
it.
live in life. Yeah, let me give you the synopsis of Better Than Life. So, um, there, a mail rocket shows up.
A what rocket?
A mail rocket.
A mail.
Yeah, carrying mail. Now, of course, everything is nuclear powered. So
I
this
see.
rocket, this mail rocket, apparently was ready to deliver the mail when Holly took the ship out of the system permanently, and it has been trying to catch up with it ever since. After 5 million years, finally the mail rocket catches up and delivers the mail.
Oh, okay. So it's got 5 million-year-old mail in it.
Yeah, well, that was intended for the whole crew, but of course, there's only these three entities now. Oh, let's see. In fact, they did add another character later. Were they detected a distress call and went to rescue these three women. There was a message from an emergency beacon to come rescue these three beautiful women. So they went to rescue them. When they got there, there were three beautiful skeletons sitting around,
Oh my god.
still being waited on by their robot butler,
Oh my gosh.
who hadn't figured out that they were dead yet.
There was a movie that came out some time ago, a couple years ago. I can't remember the name. What's the guy's name? Guardians of the Galaxy. He played the main character in Guardians of the Galaxy. Remember that movie?
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
Nope.
Well, anyhow, this in the future, this barge with these people in hibernation are going to this wayward planet they found.
Uh huh.
And for some reason, I can't remember why, one of the crew members, this guy, this character, uh, is woken up from hibernation,
Uh huh. Common theme.
and he ends up because the ship is completely automated and completely being robot ran,
Yeah.
and his only companionship is this bartender,
Uh huh.
and which is a robot.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, he figures out he knows what his part of the journey was supposed to be, and he just kind of started preparing himself. but he got lonely,
Oh, of
and he
course.
fell in love with this. He fell in love with this girl and this woman in hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up taking her out of hibernation,
Of course.
and it just I can't remember the name of the movie either.
Mhm.
Anyway, what you were describing kind of sound like a little
Yeah,
bit of
that
that.
was how Planet of the Apes started out.
Yeah, but
Anyway, so this mail rocket shows up, and um, in this mail rocket, one of them is actually for Rimmer. Well, Rimmer's
yeah.
already dead, so he shouldn't have to worry about anything, right?
5 million years dead. Yeah.
It's from the IRS.
Oh shit. the
I was
interest,
kidding
the
you.
interest occurred on that. Oh
Rimmer,
my.
Rimmer, there is no IRS. There's no human race. You don't know the IRS.
Oh, you
You
don't know
know,
the IRS. They don't
now,
give up.
there's something about psychology here that you probably don't recognize. You would only recognize it if you were a pimp or prostitute.
Oh God, I wouldn't
Now,
recognize it.
okay, but you do remember Idiocracy?
Idiocracy.
You saw Idiocracy, right?
No, I don't remember
Oh
seeing it.
my gosh, Brian! Everybody in the world has gone back to look at Idiocracy again because it predicted the world in 300 years. Only it's already come about, and we're living in Idiocracy now. And there
Hmm.
there have been protests in the streets with signs and people shouting, "Idiocracy is supposed to be a comedy, not a documentary."
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, so in Idiocracy, there's this prostitute, and she's comes out of hibernation a couple hundred years from now, and well, she adapts real fast. She knows how to, she gets along just fine. Okay,
Right, right.
especially now that she's an Einstein compared to everybody else. So she totally scams people and everything, but she's still a prostitute. But her one terror is that her pimp will come for her.
Oh my God.
Now it's been 200 some years, and she's still terrified that he's going to come after her. You don't know. What was it? What do he call himself? You don't know Upgrade. There's nothing stops that man.
Oh, geez.
Her pimp was called himself Upgrade.
Upgrade.
So yeah, that's Rimmer and the IRS. Okay.
That's funny. That's funny.
By this time, he knows the IRS isn't just going to take everything; they're going to break his knuckles. And he's a hologram. Yeah, well, after 5 million years, I expect they know how to break a hologram's knuckles.
Right.
Okay, the last and greatest item on this mail rocket is a video game called Better Than Life.
Better than life.
Yeah, and it's not just a cartridge; it's a whole machine.
Wow.
So, Better Than Life is a virtual reality game that you put on your head,
All right.
and it wires itself into your brain.
Oh,
Now,
geez.
now when the Red Dwarf was in service, this was how video games were done. Basically, you play in a matrix.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but there was an outlawed Game of Life, that played on these systems. And
Jeez.
okay, this is a game that plays you.
Oh my God.
You are the game. Okay,
You are the game, huh?
so it's not just a VR experience, and by VR I mean you taste and smell and
Nobody
feel.
would want to play it.
Well, the reason it's called Better Than Life is because it reads your subconscious desires and then creates those desires for you.
Oh, that would be scary.
Yeah. So it is a class 1A addictive controlled
Oh my
substance.
God. That'd be
Okay.
scary.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it isn't just that these guys are getting their fantasies fulfilled.
right.
It's that these are some very different kind of people. What do you
Right.
think?
Yeah.
What do you
I would.
think?
I would. I wouldn't want to know him.
Well, what do you think a cat would be dreaming of?
A cat. What
A
would a cat
cat.
be dreaming of?
Yeah.
Well, we got two kittens. I, kind of wonder what they dream of. They sleep a lot.
Well, so the very first experience the game gives you as you learn you have to learn a game, right? It gives you a training period.
Right.
Their very first experience is at a big banquet with any kind of food you can think of and some you never thought of. You can try every kind of
Right.
gourmet thing. If you're poor, you can try filet mignon
Yeah.
and
Two
well,
huge lobster tails with the T-bone steak, baked
mhm,
potato, plenty of butter.
yeah. The lighting has changed, so I'm going to try going on video so I can demonstrate with my hands.
All right.
Um, okay, so anyway, well, it's
Oh, we
coming
got
on kind
about
of.
10 minutes left.
Here it comes. Here it comes. There
There
we
you
go.
are. There he
Okay,
is.
so let me set this back a little so you can see my body language because I got a story to tell. So, as my eyes cut off. So here's the cat sitting at the table. Okay,
All right.
in front of him is a large aquarium filled with goldfish,
Okay.
live goldfish,
All right.
and in his hands he has this tiny little fishing rod.
Okay.
Come here, little fishy, little fishy, little fishy. Come
All
here.
right. All right. All right.
He's fishing the fish out of the fish tank and eating them raw. That's his fantasy.
That's his fantasy.
Yeah. Well, he grew up on a ship where you could have all the fish you wanted out of the vending machines, but they're just packaged dead fish. Now he's got live fish.
And this cat can do this in this virtual reality.
Yeah, you can do anything in this virtual reality. And
Wow.
Rimmer has had the hots for a certain um, high-ranking technician lady, who of course died 5 million years ago. But and he was always well. She was always so far above him socially that
Okay.
he would have nothing to do with him. But in this game, she falls in love with him.
Well, that's as
And,
good as it.
and the first thing he gets a Harley. He rides his Harley off and he goes and finds this technician. And then they kind of go their separate ways. And then when Rimmer and company, I'm sorry, when the other people come back, when the cat comes back, um, he's got a child.
Mm-mm.
And they're looking at him and say, "Well, congratulations, Rimmer." And he does this. Yeah, and it was like this. I mean, there's no subtlety to this guy whatsoever.
All right.
Okay. Now here's the problem with Rimmer. The reason why he's a narcissistic, eccentric egotist is because he had a father that he could never live up to. And his
Okay.
father couldn't. His father wanted a career in space, but couldn't. So he tried to live through his son, and he pushed his son to impossible levels. In fact, that tall people tend to rise in rank faster and higher than normal-sized people, right?
Right. Right.
So when he was a boy, he had a brother too. The father would put the boys on a rack and stretch them to make them taller.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So Rimmer is an extremely insecure about everything and every ability he has, because he he has abilities, but he's so insecure and nervous that he's constantly flubbing, and he can never get along with the opposite sex, right? So
Ah,
he the problem is that the machine fulfills not just your desires but your expectations.
well,
By the
virtual reality is getting close to that.
Yeah, well, the problem is that by the end of the episode, his insecurities are now being manifested in the game, and he has his wife, who's 400 pounds, pregnant. He's surrounded by about 50 children she expects him to feed. They're all screaming and crying, and she gives birth every hour on the hour.
Ouch. That's
And
crazy.
he's screaming and crying,
That is
even in a
crazy.
game that's supposed to give me everything I want. I'm
Mm, mm, mm,
I'm being tormented. Finally,
oh man.
finally everything kind of blows up, and they finally remember. Okay, this is a virtual reality because the machine kind of makes you forget that you're not actually
And
living this, right?
right.
Finally, they said, okay, because they're about to get killed by somebody, and so they say, hey, pull the helmets off, pull the helmets off. So they reach up and they pull up on their heads, and the helmets come off. Whew, that was rough. I think we see now why it was made illegal, right? Well, that
Right.
won't happen again. Just then,
Well,
just then, the biggest, meanest, most bureaucratic-looking IRS agent rushes in with a baton, and he says, "Here, little fingers," slams his hand down and goes to whack him because they actually didn't get their helmets off.
oh
They just thought
Jesus.
they took the helmets off.
Oh no. So the virtual reality IRS got 'em.
So that sounds like I know that sounds
Well,
like it sounds like a what do they call it?
science fiction, but you know what? Virtual reality, the way it is
Yeah, that wasn't what I
evolving,
was.
way it's evolving along way with
Uh, yeah,
AI.
but that wasn't the way I was going. Um, what do you call it? It sounds like I'm giving away the whole storyline.
Yeah.
I'm not. Those were just the highlights. But there was lots and lots of
Well,
stuff.
maybe next time we are on, we can go over it again. I have maybe 2 minutes left before I have to get off here,
Okay, and
and
unfortunately, I didn't have anything to say about air guns.
that's all right. That's all right. It doesn't always have to be about air guns. It can be about whatever.
Yeah.
That's what this electronic pub is here for, my friend Mystic. Us to hang out and chat it up about whatever. If it's Nintendo, if whether it's game systems, whether it's virtual reality games, whether it's stories about the future or whatever, or air guns.
Well, maybe
But
I should. Maybe as being a pub, maybe I should bring my Nord Mead.
there you go. Bring in whatever you're allowed to drink, smoke, whatever you want. This is not. This is not this is not a child for children. Actually, this
Hmm.
is not scheduled for children.
Wouldn't make much difference. I'm immune to alcohol.
You're immune to alcohol.
I can't get drunk.
I wish I could say that because I love alcohol, but it
Oh,
don't
I know.
like me. I've been sober since 2014. July 2014.
That
I've
was
been
one
sober.
thing about Maccabee. He just posted a short saying he's been dry for 5 years.
Yeah,
But that's why I
yeah.
don't
It's
use
a good feeling to be sober.
it. Yeah, it's a good. It's a
Yeah,
good feeling to be able to be sober. It's,
I may partake a little bit in God's green herb
mm-hmm.
that
But
bears
it's
seed.
but that's not really.
God's green herb that bears seed.
Yeah, but that's not actually physically addictive.
No, no, not like alcohol.
No.
Well, my friend, listen.
Okay.
I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank you for sharing your story with us. And
Yeah. Look up
and
Red Dwarf.
making me laugh, and making everybody else feel welcome, and you know, enjoy your sense of humor. You have a very unique sense of humor,
Well, of course, I borrowed a large
a
part of that
wisdom
sense of
between
humor.
you,
I
a
borrowed this one
wisdom.
from.
You borrowed what now?
I borrowed this particular wisdom humor from England.
England. Okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to share that. Everybody, go look up Red Dwarf. You want to get it? Get the
Red
whole.
Dwarf.
Get several seasons. It ran for a long time, and every season was great.
Well, I have to, oh yeah, I'll have to most definitely look it up.
Unlike most running series, they didn't run out of imagination. I don't know where they drew it from, but they just kept coming up with new stuff all the time.
Well, Mystic, I want to thank you again for coming on. I want to thank DG Outdoors and May 98 for coming on. And I don't think there was anybody else really that came on. Um, just May 98 and DG Outdoors. And there's two more watching. If they're still them, thank you, DG Outdoors and May 98 for coming on and joining in the chat. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Everybody else, have a wonderful evening. You know, as we say here at our ranch A.G.F.C, God bless you. Y'all know the rest.
Have fun.
Have fun and have a great day.